Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Just chilling, bro. Just chilling.
Everyone companion except for me.
So we actually have a fourth guest, director. Do you care to explain what's going on?
Yeah, this is the Garrison guard pug, Darla. She just barged in as soon as you went live.
That's awesome.
I figured she wanted to say hi, so I had to bring her on real quick.
All right. If my German Shepherd invaded the room right now, we wouldn't have a podcast. He would just tear everything down. So we got to keep those. We got to keep the Garrison doors on my side. They have to remain shut if that ever happened. So obviously, Warrior Nerd, we have Serpents here, and then we brought on the guest director, chronic director. Explain to the guys who might not know you. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Director Chronic. I stream mostly Star Wars content. That's how I met Warrior and Serpent. I live in New York City. I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life. Very, very leaning towards Empire, which I think we're going to be talking a lot about that today. I've always been a fan of like the villains and movies and shows, even as a kid. And I remember I fell in love with Stormtroopers and Darth Vader and the Emperor. And now I'm an adult, and I turned it into one of my favorite hobbies with streaming. And we based a whole channel around the Garrison, which is obviously a big reference to the Imperial Garrison in Rogue One. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the gist of it.
So normally you would have a command center right behind you. You got the green screen on, but because of a podcast purposes, we couldn't get the green screen on. But so yeah, guys, if you're at his streams, I mean, you're literally in Scarif. Like that's where
I prefer this for today anyway. It's much more chill vibes. I don't need to be in the Garrison command center today. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there would be a battle fighting behind you as we're trying to get the podcast going. So I had a question like right off the rip, like what made you lean towards Empire and like the Death Trooper type Rogue One setting? Did you just love that movie so much, or did it just come to you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much artwork around my room, but the one thing I went out and got, I don't know if you can see it behind me, but that Rogue One poster, hand painted Rogue One poster with Krennic and all the staples of Rogue One, the Shore Troopers, the Death Troopers, all that. That movie just resonated with me. I don't know. I was just craving for a Star Wars film that captured the essence of the original trilogy, that had a deep emotional connection to it. And Rogue One checked every single box for me. And it's honestly one of my favorite movies. And people ask, which one of your favorite Star Wars movies? And when I say Rogue One, I always, emphasize it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I put it up there with The Godfather and other movies I hold really high esteem just because of the artistry behind the movie. Rogue One was that for me. And I thought it was one of the best products that Disney's put out. And I thought it was a bold, spoiler alert, everybody dies in the end. I thought Disney giving the go ahead for an ending like that. Because Rogue One was originally written with a different ending in mind, because the writers behind Rogue One didn't think Disney would ever go for that. They never thought that Disney would be okay with killing off the entire cast. So I don't know. It was just a beautiful movie for me. So it was really a no-brainer. And I love the character of Director Krennic. I love Death Troopers. It all resonated for me, man.
That's what I was about to ask you. What about Director Krennic makes that character one of your favorites? Because obviously I'm going to assume it's your favorite character within the film.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's probably Director Krennic's probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters, not just even from Rogue One. I just like a villain that's cerebral and cunning and intelligent. And the Director Krennic, he embodied that, but also had this swag about him. And I give props to Ben Mendelsohn, who portrayed Director Krennic, because he's just an actor with swag. Like everything I've watched this actor in, he has swag about him, and it's just,
right.
And he brought that in with Krennic. Boba Fett was in my Discord today. He was like, you know what? I just noticed like Krennic has always got this little bit of swag about him. I was like,
he's the Imperial Lando, and then the swag part too, when he's like, oh, it's beautiful. He's just like, he's just got those vibes, man, where he takes his job serious. He's highly respected amongst many of his peers, except for those above him. And then he knows it, so he's like, this is cool.
Yeah, man. I thought it was a great character, man.
He carries around him the entire film, except for one scene, obviously, when he's under Vader's fist, basically. But besides that, he carries a swagger around him that I don't really think it's almost seen as intimidating by others. So it's really cool to see.
So when they announced all these new movies, and of course we got The Force Awakens and then Rogue One, I'm with you, director. Like I was like, man, I want the old school vibes, but a new movie. Like I don't really need some story that's 20, 30 years from now. Like I want it in the Galactic Civil War, and I want the old school vibes. And that's why I liked Rogue One so much. The sets were just amazing. Like, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about too. Does the Imperial type sets, the way it looks, like it always looks clean, it's new. Is that better for you, or do you like the old school like Millennium Falcon type sets where it's like rough around the edges?
You mean like in any era?
Well, yeah. Well, you know how like the Empire, they always have new equipment, and it's like looks slick. The Star Destroyers are nice, and then the Rebels always have like the hand me downs, like war torn stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that like your type of? Is that what you like the most, like as far as like the art of Star Wars goes?
Yeah, I think the clean aesthetic of the Empire is one of the biggest reasons why I was so drawn to it. Even, I mean, it goes even further from the set. Like even a clean stormtrooper, clean stormtrooper armor, like the kind you see on the Death Star. Like, I don't know. I just love that aesthetic. Everything's so polished and clean. The color dynamic, dark gray, bright whites, bright reds. It's just I don't know. It's just everything with the Empire, just aesthetically very pleasing. And yeah, no, I never was into Rebel ships. Even as a kid, I didn't like the X-Wings. I didn't like, even the Falcon. It's a cool ship, but it looks like a piece of shit. Like, but then I see Darth Vader. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse.
Sergeant, if you're out there, ears.
Keep me out. You guys can do that.
No,
right?
you're good, bro. You're good.
But then, you would see, a clean looking TIE interceptor or like a Star Destroyer that's just completely glossy and polished on the inside. I don't know how you can even compare for me personally.
Serp, what's your favorite non-hero ship? Like I'm talking like X-Wing, Y-Wing, TIE Fighter. What's your favorite ship?
B-Wing.
B-Wing. Mine is the Lambda shuttle. So it's like, that's pretty, it's always, when you see the Lambda class shuttle, you're always thinking like there's someone of importance on that ship. But I just like the way it looks, man. The V shape it takes when it's about to, when it takes off and then it's starting to land and everything. I love it.
I relate the same exact way. I'm the same exact way when it comes to the Imperial side, having way more pizzazz than the Rebels. I mean, it was really cool. I love the Y-Wing a lot. So seeing the Y-Wing in Clone Wars for me, which was really where the Republic Y-Wing was really cool to see. That was like really rare. But I'll definitely take the Imperial every day over the Rebels for sure. So I'm with Chronic on that.
I didn't expect that. That's actually surprising to me.
I wonder what draws everybody, because I think most Star Wars fans that we talk to always go to the side of like the Empire or
don't say the Separatists, because that's
the Separatists. They like the clankers and stuff. No, but even with the clones, we knew that the clones are going to eventually become the bad guys. So it's like we always like the way the armor looks, the way Empire looks. Everybody's always gravitating towards that. I don't know what it is. Maybe just because it looks cool, and villains are always awesome to be. But at the same time, everybody's always normally morally good people. So I guess it's just their way of getting it out and then experiencing it in another way. You know what I mean?
I think it's really cool to see obviously it was within the original trilogy, which is 77, 80, and 83, but it's really cool to see it now within like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, Rogue One, in like this new era, and seeing like high quality with the Empire and etc. Seeing these like TIE interceptors or whatever the case may be within these films. It's really cool to see it like in this area. And I'm sure we're going to get way more now within these next series. Rangers of the New Republic, it'll probably be like how you said, it's going to be like a Battlefront 2, basically in a film, like a supremacy match, like a Age of Rebellion supremacy match right in front of your face. The Ahsoka series, everything is going to take place during this era. So we're going to just see more and more of it like in this day and age. So that's really cool.
Director, you've been advocating for many weeks or months on your stream about an open world game. You can go ahead and take the floor.
There's a lot to unpack there, especially because we don't have a lot of information right now, but we do know that there's an open world Star Wars game coming out. So for me personally, you know, people were waiting for BF3, and trust me, like I'll be with you guys and be super excited to get another Battlefront game. But I'm going to level with you. I want an open world Star Wars game more than I want another Battlefront. It's just where I'm at right now. I've wanted it for years. I know I've only been streaming for months, but I've been wanting this for years. And how I describe it on stream is I hope that we get an open world Star Wars game where a customization should be through the roof. I'm talking like Skyrim-esque Star Wars game where you can be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do. The limits, there's no limits. I just want no borders. I don't want to be walked through the game. I want it like Skyrim, you know, huge skill tree. If you want to be force sensitive, you can be force sensitive. If you don't care about being force sensitive, then you can work on aiming with blasters, and you could be a smuggler, or you can enlist with the Rebel Alliance, or you can enlist with the Galactic Empire. And then if you didn't even want to do that, then you could be crafting, and you could just be maybe like an armorer for Mandalorians. You could be a bounty hunter. You go to Maz Eisley, pick up a quest from the bartender at the cantina, get back in your ship, fly to another planet, get distracted in another world, and all the stuff going on there. That honestly, to me, would be the number one priority. If somebody put me in charge of like a Star Wars gaming studio, I would put all my efforts into that, and of course, a Battlefront 3 as well. But because I separate them because they're not the same. Like I think you can do a single player game and put out a multiplayer.
You definitely can. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
They have a PvP mode in SWTOR. I don't know if they're going to do it in this upcoming one. Chronic, what era do you think it'll take place in?
You know what I want. I want OT era, but I would hope it's OT era. I wouldn't be that interested in an open. I just feel like there's enough MMOs and open world games that take place like prequels and even beyond, like further back than that, like KOTOR and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I just want to live out original trilogy stuff. I definitely don't want it to be too far back or too far ahead. Like sequel trilogy wouldn't interest me much either.
The old trilogy is pretty much where the general timeline of Star Wars is. Like we always refer to that. That's kind of like the point we always grasp to when we're talking about current timeline. It's always around the OT trilogy, so I wouldn't mind it. I think it's going to be the High Republic, but I'm with you with the two games. Like there could be no multiplayer at all. Like literally no online access. The only way it accesses online is for updates, and that's it. And then I'd be okay with that, because then you could grind Battlefront 3 all day, and then afterwards you hop in a Discord call and then just chill with your friends, and like I'm gonna go explore some ancient Sith temple, and you're telling your death troopers what to polish. So,
I like it, dude. I like it. There is a chance that they can include PvP in this. I mean, because you saw what my dream would be is like this open world, like a SWTOR with like Battlefront 2's graphics. Because I think like out of any Star Wars game, I think Battlefront 2 kills it in the graphics by a long shot. So if you could just, maybe even like add like a VR section to things. I don't know, just throw in anything.
I didn't even realize how held back my Xbox was until I switched to PC. The Battlefront 2 graphics are still like, you would think that the game came out this year, or 2020. That's how you would be like, wow, this is a brand new game we got here. But with PvP though, like if let's say that Serpents would take a path of a Jedi, how would my smuggler character be able to PvP? So I think do you mean by PvP that we could join together and then maybe do a mission together?
Well, that's how it is in SWTOR, basically. I mean, I'm very new to the game. I mean, there's some way more experience than I am, but like from what I've seen, I haven't gotten into the PvP yet of it, but you create your class, your character, your race, your species. You can even go to a vendor and change your appearance, whatever the case may be, your cosmetics. Then you go, like, say I'm a Jedi, you're a smuggler, we just team up and we just complete quests together. I played a lot of World of Warcraft growing up. That was like my main game. And I would be a hunter. That was like my main class. And my best friend would be like a warrior. It didn't matter. We were still different races and everything, but we'd quest up together. We'd get lower XP because we team up together. But like we just do everything together. We just be in a VC and like just have a great time. So I can see like from a PvP standpoint, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't be like a direct player versus player, but at least a co-op. You know what I mean? That way we can at least, because like there has to be I want it to be a game that we just, it's not like a Jedi Fallen Order type of thing. Like a Jedi Fallen Order, you wrap that up in like a week maybe. I want this to be a thing that can last like a long time. You know what I mean? Like maybe not last. I mean, Battlefront 2 is almost 4 years strong now. Maybe it won't last that long, but something along those lines where we can actually like look forward to playing it every single night post Battlefront 2 or Battlefront 3, whatever the case may be.
The Fallen Order to me is my favorite next gen, I guess you could say, Star Wars game, and yet I've only played through it once. And I think because it was so good to me that, well, I won't even spoil it because I know there has to be one guy that hasn't played the ending yet. When you get through that ending, it was so it was so good where it's like I can't even replay it and have the same satisfaction. So I'm with you. It needs to be a game where like Director Chronic says, like Skyrim, because we've all played Skyrim, or a majority of gamers have played hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of Skyrim, and that's what we want, is a hundreds of hours game where I don't have to stress. I can just walk the city streets if I wanted to, or go play Sabacc or something in the cantina. Just something to chill out on.
I feel like Jedi Fallen Order it's very much a linear game, and some people like push back with that. But I mean, when you really like listen, it did feel like there weren't like guardrails that you had to march down, but the game was a linear game, guys. It was a game that you had to do, X, Y, and Z in that order and get through it. You had a little bit of leeway here and there, but it was not an open world game, not like what we're talking about right now. And I agree with you, boys. It should be a game where you can invest Skyrim level hours in. And what I mean by that is like I have probably the most hours in Skyrim than I've gotten in any other game, minus probably Battlefront now. But Skyrim was a single player game that I sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours in, and it's a game that I keep buying again. Like I have Skyrim on Xbox disc, the disc worn out, and then I bought Skyrim digitally on Xbox, then I bought it on PC, then I bought it on VR. Like I want a Star Wars game that like can last for 5, like Serp was saying, like we can get years and years of playability with it, where a game like Jedi Fallen Order is, I felt like it was a one and done type thing. Like sure, some people replay it with mods and stuff to like switch it up, but overall to me that game was just kind of a one and done, discard after use type thing.
Here's a question for both of you. Do you think that if we get the game exactly what we just described, is it a streamable game? Is that a game that we could stream, or would the people not want to watch someone stream it because they would just rather play it themselves?
I honestly, I think you should just do whatever's best for the single player experience. And sometimes that doesn't translate to what streams well. And honestly, I think an open world game like that, I mean, if it's Star Wars, I'm going to find it hard to not want to stream it. Yeah. But at the same time, Skyrim's not a game I would like. I love that game. It's a me game. It's like a me time thing. And like you guys are saying, like have your unwind game after stream or after intense multiplayer gameplay with your friends, and you want to wind down but stay in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to maybe shock some people and say this. I kind of hope that the single player game doesn't cater to streaming. I hope that it's about immersing the solo player. And obviously people want to stream different things. The vibe and energy in my stream doesn't really accommodate sitting back and playing a single player game for 8 hours. So I honestly don't care either way. If it's highly streamable, bonus points. If it's not, and it's more of like you should experience it on your own and connect with the games, like almost spiritually, just like be super invested in it, like kind of like I was like that with Skyrim. That's fine with me too, because I probably won't end up streaming it heavily either way.
I'm more of a multiplayer fan than I am a single player. I prefer streaming games that I can actually get competitive with and invest my time into and like my mental state with. But I will say, we'll talk about this later, I think it would be the perfect stream. I feel like it would be the perfect game for like a squad stream, a game that you can play with other streamers to have a good time with, and all communicate on something fun. If they had the like co-op experience, you know what I mean? But I technically really, really agree with you. I would prefer it to be something I can do in my downtime, something like after a long day, I could just like hop on and just have a good time. Because that's something like SWTOR. I mean, a lot of people do stream SWTOR and it's very successful, but you notice that a lot of the streamers probably stream the PvP mode, playing against others, doing some competitive matches and etc. For a single player, Jedi Fallen Order, like it's fun to stream it, but like by the time I started streaming, it was already like the game was already almost a year into it, and when it's been out, and you got to be careful because of spoilers, because some people don't want to get spoiled. A lot of that's why I didn't stream the Squadron story mode, because I knew something. I didn't want to ruin the experience for others in case it was spoiled. So there's a lot of to like think about with that. But for me personally, I'm more of a multiplayer fan to stream. Right. So if there is like a multiplayer experience with them, then absolutely. Regardless, it's Star Wars, so we love it. We're going to be addicted to it regardless.
Yeah, for the normal game, it's between like 10 to 15-hour campaign, and with a story mode game, I'm one of those people where I play it and I don't want to stop. I can normally beat a campaign game within like 2 days. So if I streamed it, most people probably wouldn't even own the game. So if they came in, they'd already be getting spoilers like insanely, because I'll be on like the last chapter. So that's why I did stream Fallen Order way back then, but at the same time now, with my current standpoint, I don't think if Fallen Order came out today, I would stream it, even though I'd really want to. But I think most people just want to experience for themselves, or they'd be like, well, I got to head out because you're about to go to this boss fight, and I don't want to spoil the boss fight. So I'm going to be interesting. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that, because it is something we all need to think about. And I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast too, and people are going to want to know if it's like a spoiler heavy type game. But if it's an open world, maybe it's not even canon. Maybe you just hop in and just have fun. So
that would be interesting if it wasn't classified as canon, because they did say that all the future games, and projects are really going to be around canon based. So that actually would be really interesting. Imagine that you don't have to like follow a certain timeline; you can just do whatever you want.
Yep.
Cool.
It'd be interesting. But I will agree, though. I don't know. Just the multiplayer experience is just a little different. And the mods do keep Jedi Fallen Order fun, but like the game has been out for a year and a half now, basically. So, but the mods make it fun. You can get Mando with the Darksaber. You can get Ahsoka. You can get Darth Talon. You can get whoever you want replacing Cal. You can even get replacements for the bosses as well. So stuff like that is cool, but we'll see.
Director, you have probably some of the most mods out of anybody on Battlefront 2. What's your go-to mods for Battlefront 2?
I've been doing Mod Mondays since I can remember. The top ones, and this is a question I'm asked every stream. Cad Bane, even though I'm not a Boba player, Cad Bane, that mod is so complete. Like, I feel like people sleep on that Cad Bane mod. I was happy to see Mr. Boba Fett rocking it on his stream finally. I just think and he's a great Boba Fett player. I almost said Boba Fett.
I do it all the time.
I know, it's so bad. Just like you guys with Krennic Chronic.
Krennic, which is going to be next one.
It's not the book of Boba. I almost did it. It's not the book of Boba Fett. This winter, it's going to be the book of Boba Fett. That's how I literally will say that to people, and I'll be like, they probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
That should be his only stream title after that show launches. But yeah, Cad Bane is definitely one of my favorites. Caped Grievous is amazing. The legendary variant of it. It's a beautiful skin. I'm not just saying this to suck up to you because you're the host, but the Revan mods are all sick. Just something about a dark side character with a purple lightsaber looks beautiful in that game. So both Revan mods, I'm using one right now that I really like. The Darth Treya mod is really cool. And on top of that, I got to learn about a character I never knew about. Like, I didn't know the details, and Warrior Nerd, you helped me with that because you're like a Star Wars historian. So the Darth Treya mod easily got up to the top of my list as well. Dagobah Luke is really cool. X-Wing Luke with the X-Wing pilot. I like those two Luke skins as well. Sith Eye Anakin. It's a simple detail, but I've always loved that mod. I haven't ran it in a while, but that's a really cool mod as well. And I'm missing some.
Oh, I know you're missing one.
Oh yeah, hold on. I got a bunch more still.
You're missing one that everyone is waiting to hear.
Chimkin. Should I just say it? Chimkin is a Pega, but it's fun. It's a fun mod. I'm not going to say it's like the best mod out there, but we have fun with it. But Director Krennic and Jyn Erso import from 2015. We got Scarif map, but we didn't get the heroes like we did in Battlefront 2015. So to me, those mods are near and dear to my heart because Battlefront 2015 is still my favorite Star Wars game of all time. People are shocked to hear me say that, but nothing will ever replace the memories, the times, and the games I've had on Battlefront 2015. So having Jyn Erso and Director Krennic in the game from that is really cool. I rarely ever change those mods. But when I do change the Jyn Erso one, It's been Slave Leia, the Hutt Slayer Leia. That's been an awesome skin. And what else? I'm missing one more I was about to say. Padme. That's probably like top 10 right there.
Did you say the Ahsoka mod in there?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure. So that brings my next question. Bo-Katan or Din Djarin? Who you got?
Din.
Thank you.
Din.
Okay, so Serp is now on an island all by himself. I'm gonna ask.
Okay, well, next guest will be otherwise. So we're 0 for 2, but okay.
We're 0 for 2 right now in special guest picks. So and then my vote as well is Din Djarin. So it's 3-1. So
is there a mod you'll never remove? Is there a mod that you like wake up and you just have to keep it? Is there
Director Critic?
Yeah,
I'll never swap him out unless there's something new that comes out that's like, people just like, you need to like at least let us see you play with it. Maybe I'll take him off for a day, but I will never take Director Critic off my game.
That's what I had too. Like people want a certain Kylo Ren skin, and I'm like, I can't. I don't want to take Revan away. I can switch to Starforge Revan, or that's about it. I don't want to. I know, Serp, you switched from Ahsoka and back to, but
if I did it, I had to keep Ahsoka under Anakin. I wasn't gonna.
Oh, so you always have an Ahsoka loaded, right?
I'm never gonna have a day without her.
There you go. Yeah. And what's cool is Ahsoka's associated with Bo-Katan, so you've incorporated Bo-Katan as well. So you always have a Bo-Katan or a
yesterday we were doing Phasma Day, so I had Bo replacing Phasma, and then I was able to like explore a little bit and had Sabine replacing Leia. So that was actually kind of fun.
That's awesome, man.
So I don't really turn the Ahsoka mod off either.
You don't? No.
Since I added Ahsoka, I haven't taken.
And you didn't even mention it in your top 10. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, maybe she would make the top 10 then.
Yeah, see, I know.
I'll give you that, sir.
No,
let me give him something.
10.2.
He's begging for something. Let me throw him Ahsoka at least, dude.
So Serp, what was so yours is it's Ahsoka, the Bo-Katan, and what's your third one after that? If you had
Battle Damage Vader, I think for me is one of the cool ones. I think because the cool part about the Battle Damage Vader one, you can download 3 files. One of them has half of his mask cracked open. One of them has his whole entire helmet, or it looks like an egg, and then one of them is just like the full helmet, and then the rest of the body is cracked. So you can get 3 different files for that. The Battle Damage Vader is amazing. Sith-eyed Anakin is incredible. And what the cool thing is about these mods is not a lot of people know about that. You can get replacements for you can mesh them with other mods. So we got Bo-Katan as Leia, and then there's a Leia to Luke mod that you can download that will replace whatever Leia is to Luke. So we added Bo-Katan replacing Luke. You could just get a Darksaber add-on, and then you can do that with like any type of character, really. So you can even get Sabine with a Darksaber. You can probably get Hutt Slayer Leia with a Darksaber. You know what I mean? Grogu. The Grogu mod with the lightsaber is one of my favorites. The new Grogu mod that replaces BB-8. I know Chronic uses that, and then everyone gave you crap for it because you had to bring back Chimkin, but like it was cool. There's just so many, and like we always talk about this. Like if it wasn't for the modders, who knows where this game would be at right now? I mean, I think the 2 things that's so great for this game right now is the fact that yes, one, it was free on the Epic Games Store, which was amazing. The new player base, all the people that are enjoying this game, so into it and invested. Having conversations in the game chat about how much they love it, but then also the modding community. Because without the modding community, I don't even think this game would have ever gone free in the first place. Because they're what keep this game alive, and they do it free of charge. They don't want anything. They don't get anything out of it. They just do it because they love a Battlefront, and they constantly. If you look on the Next Mods website, every single day there's something. They just uploaded the new Kirby mod. They're making an Ahsoka Mandalorian mod. They work on things constantly. The Death Trooper mods. The Dark Trooper mods that's on the way. The Dark Trooper mods are going to be incredible.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Constantly make content. And it's just it does show 2 things. It shows, yes, their dedication, but it also shows the missed opportunities that EA had. And if these people that can do it for free of their time can do it, then definitely a multi-million-dollar company can do it as well.
Director, what would be the one mod that hasn't been made yet that you're just like I would throw cash at? Like, you just go do it right now. Director, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm thinking. That's a tough one, dude.
We lost him. Mine is while you're thinking, mine is Bastila from KOTOR. There is one that's like when I was looking through Nexus, there is one that's really old. and because it's old, it's not up to par with the newer mods. So I would need I want a replacement brand new Basilisk Sean mod, and it would probably replace Ray, if I'm assuming.
Can I give you? I'll give you a dark side and a light side. Is that cool? It's hard for me to pick. Dark side, Moff Gideon. So I'm really excited when we have a really bad alpha one right now. But I'm dying for Moff Gideon. He's my new favorite villain. Love Mandalorian series. I think he brings a whole level to it. But I would love to see a Moff Gideon actually in the game. So that's my dark side pick. Light side, Qui-Gon Jinn. I think it's beyond time to see him in a game.
So that's actually cool that you said that. So you had a moment on your stream where Qui-Gon became part of like your stream for a day. Like you centered Qui-Gon around your stream. You were quoting him, and I thought that was amazing, man. You killed that stream. It was awesome, and then that brought a topic over to the podcast, and then we had like a 10-15 minute discussion about Qui-Gon. So what's your opinions on Qui-Gon Jinn? And let's see maybe if we can spark another cool discussion, because I think Qui-Gon is one character that you can always go and explore more than what is just in the movies and the books, man. There's like layers to this character. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and I like that it's not just shoved in your, like other characters. You know who Han Solo is because you watch the movie. You know pretty much everything about him just by watching him in the films. Luke, like all these characters, even Obi-Wan to an extent, all these guys. Qui-Gon, you just see him, in one movie, and there's a lot of backstory, and people color that in with many different media forms of Star Wars, obviously. But I've always liked mysterious characters. It's actually like, I got people upset because I was like kind of thinking Boba Fett would die in Mandalorian, and then he ended up getting a spin-off show. And I was the only one kind of like, oh man, like Boba's not mysterious anymore. Like we're gonna literally know his every waking thought and dream, and like, you know what I mean? Like but there was something about Boba Fett that made him so awesome because you didn't know about him. And isn't it part of Star Wars? Isn't part of the appeal is that you use your imagination and to fill in the blanks,
dude?
So good.
Dude, man, I talk about that so much, man. Like you can, like, so the best example, spoiler at the end of the Mandalorian, guys, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a spoiler podcast. So when everyone's like, does R2 know Grogu or whatever? I was like, I don't think he knows Grogu or he's ever seen him. I'm assuming, and you can use your imagination, that on the hyperspace trip to save Grogu, R2's like, where are we going? Because he does it for Dagobah. And then he's like, we're going to go meet a new guy. And he explains that he's much like Master Yoda. And R2's like, okay, cool. You can fill in the blanks through your imagination. So I'm right, dude. When he said that, I was like, finally someone, yes.
I normally don't have people agree with me because they're usually like, they love Boba Fett so much. So they're like, give me all the content. I'm like, but then it gets kind of watered down. And then like, they're telling you who he is and who he was rather than like, a dark mystery where you can fill it in yourself. But Qui-Gon Jinn is that character for me on the light side. Like I don't like many light side characters. I'm not a big Jedi fan. Like there's not many Jedis that appeal to me. Maybe it's the mysteriousness of Qui-Gon, at least the canon format of him, that really calls to me. And I just loved Liam Neeson in the role, and I loved a lot of his quotes, even though he was had a short time in one movie. I don't know, it was just a memorable performance, a memorable character, and I don't think Obi-Wan Kenobi would ever be who he was if Qui-Gon wasn't the leader that he was. And he was the one who went to the Jedi Council to first bring things to their attention and was dismissed. So in a lot of ways, Qui-Gon was well ahead of everybody. And I don't think that character gets enough love. And, I'll always stick my chest out for Qui-Gon. I think he's a badass character.
I agree. And I believe that all questions aren't meant to be answered in terms of Star Wars and in terms of characters. At the end of Rebels, well, if you didn't watch it, I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. But let's just say there's parts with Maul that like aren't, and they were supposed to have longer scripts, but they shortened it on purpose because they want fans to be able to, take the next day and think about, wait, is it this or is it that? And like really question the character. And I think with Qui-Gon, there's so many questions. Everyone, and we talked about this on the podcast one night. We were like, who would have Qui-Gon been in the Clone Wars? Would he have been like one of the ones that were attached to the clones, or would he not have been? We never know. And I think that's like the really cool, mysterious part about him. And I definitely agree with you in terms of Boba. And we were talking about this as well. I was relating Boba a lot to Maul in terms of their story. If you watch The Phantom Menace, you don't know anything about Maul. Like, you don't know anything about him. He's this mysterious character. He's intimidating. His facial expressions, really intimidating. And then in the Clone Wars, we get a little bit more character to him, but they took such a careful approach that they made it perfectly. Now, with Boba, I'm sure they're not going to mess this up. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. But it is nice to see that, like, that's why it's a fan favorite, because you don't know much about him and you like that. And that's the same thing with Vader. I would love a Vader film, but at the same time, I wouldn't, because I like Vader to be on a separate side, very intimidating, not know much about his like story as Vader, like during his time as Vader, not as Anakin.
I'm definitely
on a daily basis.
I'm definitely okay with a Vader character. Do I want a Vader show? Yes. Do I want it to be as brutal as can be? Yes. But Vader's still one of those characters where he's just the man of grand entrances. Like, you could, in the Kenobi show, if he appeared, it would be another epic entrance. And then you get him for the 2 minutes, and it's brutal. He's doing force chokes, breaking spines, killing people with his lightsaber, and being very intimidating. And how intimidating can a character be throughout 40, 50-minute episodes over the season?
The watered down effect. I'm telling you guys, like, I know trust me, I'm a guy that lives for nostalgia. It's why I love the original trilogy more than any other Star. Like, you can say Mando and all that. It pales in comparison to the original trilogy. That's how much I love nostalgia and appreciate the original content that we got for Star Wars. That being said, though, like, we got to be careful that all these beloved characters don't get overly saturated. And I hope Disney talks about that. Whoever's going to be running it, whether it's Kathleen Kennedy, we're hearing rumors Jon Favreau might be taking the reins from her. But whatever the case is, whoever's running Disney, I hope that they don't start putting way too much content out around one specific character, because I really, truly believe if they do it too much, it'll actually have an adverse effect on that character's story and people that appreciate them.
And that's why I think Grogu's going to be gone for a couple years. I think he's just going to be with that. Yeah, he's just going to go. He won't be in anything this year. He's not going to be. I seriously doubt he'll be in Book of Boba, and then we won't even see him. I don't think if we see him in season 3 of Mando, it wouldn't even be till halfway through, or maybe the finale.
Yeah.
So, which is I'm okay with, because you're right with the watered down. I mean, there's already Grogu on cereal boxes, so I mean, there's almost too much Grogu, and then people are going to start missing him, and they're going to want him back, and then they just put him back into a show. I don't even think Vader, you couldn't have that much Vader everywhere, I don't think. So I'm with you guys. But do I want one? Yeah. So, and that brings up one of the questions. Sean Darkley says, do you think we will ever get an R-rated Star Wars movie? And do you think Rogue One should have been R-rated? I'm assuming the second part of that question is, should it have been more brutal? Because what you said at the beginning, director, they went off on a limb and they killed all the main characters, which was it's the hero's journey. Star Wars is literally, if you could give another title for Star Wars, it's called the hero's journey. So to kill all the heroes in the end, I mean, that is pretty brutal, but not. Go ahead.
I think it was fine. I don't think it needed to have that next levelness to it. I think Star Wars, part of why we celebrate it as globally, Star Wars is big everywhere, is because it connects generations. People might not like that. I know people want an R-rated Star Wars for adults, where you just see maybe there's a market for that. Maybe we'll get an R-rated Star Wars show. Who knows? But for the films, at least, I have to say you need to be inclusive of children, and that's part of the reason. Like, Star Wars is magical because a father and a son can walk in the movie theater and leave both shocked and wowed and in love with the content. And if Star Wars ever fully loses that, then it loses everything that Star Wars is. It loses itself. Exactly. Process. So it might be not what people want to hear, essentially, but I'm just going to spit my opinion out there. But I think Star Wars should always be inclusive of the younger audiences as well. And as you saw in Rogue One, you cannot be rated R and still have an emotionally deep film that can take bold risks and still wow the adult audience while still letting the kids sit next to you and enjoy a great Star Wars movie. And I think Rogue One, chef's kiss. It hit that middle ground. It teetered that really fine line really well.
George Lucas said that it was always built for kids, and when he gave the reins of George Lucas, he wanted the mission and the vision to always consider the kids first, because that's what it is. I mean, that's what Star Wars is based on. It was all of every single person, us three right here, it was our childhood. I did have one question for you. Last night you did host your Empire Strikes Back watch party, which is obviously a lot of us can agree is probably, if not the best, one of the best Star Wars films. Do you prefer, and if it's in the middle on you, it's fine, but do you prefer Empire Strikes Back, or, I know this is going to be harsh, Empire Strikes Back or Rogue One, and why?
You're going to make me decide? You guys know I always stumble over my words on stream when people ask. That's another question.
I know you've mentioned it. Mentioned it. But like, if it is the case, like, what is the exact specific reason why?
Well, Empire would win slightly, and I've always ranked Empire over Rogue One, just because nostalgia, and it's like a part of the original trilogy that made me fall in love with Star Wars. So it gets the tiebreaker because it's an original movie. But Rogue One is as close as you're ever going to probably get me to even putting something up there against Empire. So, you know, I don't want to slight Rogue One in the slightest because I love that movie. But I think it loses out to Empire just like by a hair because of the nostalgia.
Yeah. And that's why I like Rogue One so much too, because there's so many little details. I mean, you could pause that movie every 10 minutes and find another little Easter egg in the background. And I think the cast, Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso was just like so solid of a choice. Like, I think it's one of the best castings that they've ever done. I thought
even brought James Earl Jones back for the voice of Vader.
Yeah.
Did everything. They outdid themselves so much. And I told you, we talked about this the other week, why Revenge of the Sith is such a high-ranked movie, why it sticks with fans so much. And George Lucas even said this, is because it didn't have a happy ending. Revenge of the Sith did not have a happy ending. That was the end of a trilogy right there. So you would expect the end of a trilogy to have a happy ending or something to like leave off on. But it sticks with fans so much because it was so dark. And it hurts. And that's the same thing with Rogue One. Rogue One, it doesn't have a happy ending. It just leads you right into A New Hope. Now, I know you had your watch party where you watched Rogue One directly into A New Hope, and you can really see how well it ties in. And I've watched it multiple times on my own in that same exact order, and it's beautiful, even being 30 years apart, and it's perfect.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about like war. They just lost, half the rebellion right there, and the war hadn't even started. So Scarif is the first battle. So, and then they lose all that, and then you just go to the Tantive. And you're right on Tatooine, and it's almost like, when you're watching A New Hope for the first time, if we could ever go back to that moment, you had no idea that multiple people already sacrificed their life for these plans, and that's why it's so important for Vader to get it back. It really empowers the story even more, man. And I think I'm with you. Rogue One is amazing, and I always find it very interesting when someone hates Rogue One. I'm like, what could they do? Like, tell me what they could do better. What movie do you want? Yeah. I can't see it from that point of view. Yeah. And I really try to put myself in their shoes. Like, what makes Rogue One so bad for you? I don't have the answer, man. I think it's very well done. Jyn Erso is the main character. I love the scene where she's watching the hologram of her dad. And it's just her. I'm sure it's just her in the room. You have Forrest Whitaker in the background, but and that's an emotional part too. I mean, it's not R-rated, but you get your heart starts pumping. I remember watching that theater. I was upset for her. So you can get those emotions without having to go adult like in a movie.
And not only do you get emotional in that scene with Jyn Erso, because you do, she's connecting with her dad, who she hasn't seen since she was barricaded and picked up from Saw Gerrera. But so that emotion is being played in. But I got teary-eyed in the theater when I watched Rogue One in that scene. And it wasn't just because of Jyn Erso's connection with her dad. It's still early in the movie when that happens. Like, you're starting to care about the character, but I wasn't like tearjerker for her. Do you know what was the most powerful part of that for me personally was when he tied in the exhaust port in the Death Star from the original trilogy, probably the biggest plot hole in cinematic freaking history was that there was an opening in the Death Star that blew the whole thing up. It was the number one reason people ridiculed A New Hope, was the ending, and saying like, oh my God, they built this world-sized battle station and left a hole that destroys it. It was like always a meme about A New Hope. And I remember it brought like a tear to my eye in that moment, because I was noticing what Rogue One was doing was tying this loose end up from A New Hope, and gave us the reason that even existed was because their main man who was doing all the scientific research and construction of the Death Star was the man who kept this weak point in on purpose, to one day hope that in the rare chance somebody could come along and blow the station up, which obviously ended up being Luke Skywalker. But that moment to me in the theater, that was the first gut punch Rogue One gave me. And then from that moment on, I was captivated from the whole movie. So the number one, I just want to say this real quick too. I know I get fired up on Rogue One, boys. Sorry. I hate when people say Rogue One's slow. It starts slow. It's really good. Scarif's fun. You're not paying attention. Go back and watch and listen in detail and pick up on all the, like Warrior just said, the Easter eggs in that movie. There's so many. And really appreciate the subtleties in Rogue One, because there is no boring moment in Rogue One. Right. If you're a Star Wars fan and you're cultured on everything Star Wars, you will find something in every scene that Gareth Edwards, the director, placed into that movie. And there's a lot of subtle, powerful moments.
Galen is the perfect character where you can go back and use that imagination we were talking about, and you can just see him in the laboratory just slaving away and then trying to figure out how he can save the entire galaxy off of his brain. You know, he's like, I can do this. Like, they want me to build this Death Star, but how? And he made literally the perfect plan. Like, you know, the rebellion finished that off with less than like 30 starfighters. You know, they barely had anything going against the Death Star in that battle. So, and that's one where, yeah, you can definitely use your imagination and then just see him. All he thinks about is Jyn, making sure she's safe, and the galaxy as a whole. But it's a risk, man, because the Death Star is still complete. You know, he completes it. So that's
every single scene in Rogue One was crucial to the end of the story, which ties into A New Hope, which makes A New Hope age so well. Yep. And this is how I always tie it in, because the Clone Wars had the same effect with the prequels. We saw the prequels, you saw them for the first time, you watched them through, most fans don't like episodes 1 and 2, and then they love 3. That's usually how it is. And some people don't even like Revenge of the Sith. But if you really watch the Clone Wars seasons 1 through 7, episode 3 makes so much more sense, because you see Anakin's turn little by little. We were watching season 1 last night in our watch party, and Anakin had a moment where Padme was stuck because of the virus and etc., and she was like literally about to pass out because of the gas. And it showed he tapped into his dark side of how like he was willing to do anything to sacrifice to save her, and he was losing it. And it already showed that hints towards what it was in Revenge of the Sith. And it's the same thing with A New Hope. You know, those little hints that you see in Rogue One makes A New Hope like that much more beautiful. And it's the movie that started all. It was the film that started it. Without A New Hope, none of this, we wouldn't have any of this. So it's really cool to see that they can elaborate on that story. And it makes Vader's character so much more deeper. It shows all the characters. And also the fact that we're getting a casting the Andor series, it's going to even bank off it even more. The story is only going to grow. Like once we get his story, it's going to make his character. I mean, I love this character. Don't get me wrong. I love this character. But for me personally, in that film, Jyn Erso is my favorite character. That's just me. Yeah. But it'll bank off of this character so much more. And it'll make that story so much more special. And that's going to be really awesome to see. And I think those prequel, what we want to call it, episodes or shows or whatever the case may be before a film, influences the movie so much. And I think, and I know everyone has mixed feelings about the sequels, but that's what I always say, that these shows that we're living in right now, Mandalorian, talking about the Donor, Ahsoka series, everything taking place during this era, it's going to take the same exact effect into the sequels to make things make more sense. And with Rogue One, it worked perfectly how they did that.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. And I think they're going to keep doing that as we go along. Yeah. 15 years from now, we could be able to, they might even have it where you can start on whatever's that timeline in the beginning, and you could do a full marathon, and it almost could be like right after. I think now that I think about it, I think that would be, take a week vacation and just watch the entire timeline.
Yeah. I agree with Serp too. Jyn Erso is probably one of the best female leads I've seen in a long time. And I put her up there with Leia. Like, she's really, I know it's almost sacrilege. Leia's still, the princess, don't get me wrong. But Jyn Erso is such a powerful female lead, and I thought the casting was perfect, and I loved how that character was written. She didn't, and I really appreciated the fact that her and Cassian didn't go into a love storyline. I was actually rooting.
Perfect. I'm so happy.
I thought they were gonna kiss at the end when the planet was blowing up, and I was like, they're definitely gonna. There's no way. It's a Disney movie. If they're gonna die, they're at least gonna like be like, oh, I love you or something, and they didn't do it. Like, that was so bold. It was perfect. It didn't suit her character. It didn't suit Cassian's character. So it was all the right decision. It was so good.
And that's why people don't like it. I mean, that's why people have like mixed feelings, because it's like, oh my God, like it wasn't how I expected it to be. Well, it's Star Wars. You're never going to get what you want. And this is what makes it so. It's George Lucas is always big. He always said this in like interviews about taking risks. Sam Witwer, the voice of Maul, Sam Witwer said he was very disappointed because George Lucas basically said to the cast and whoever worked on The Force Unleashed, is like, this can't be canon. This is Legends because you guys didn't take enough risk. It's not good enough, basically, is what he said. And Rogue One was such a huge risk taker in every single format, because you literally have the entire original trilogy in your hands. And they did a perfect job, in my opinion.
And George Lucas called Gareth Edwards the director, and Gareth said that whatever Lucas said to him was just so profound and such a compliment that he said he's taking it to his grave. So I think that's probably the biggest proof that George Lucas was absolutely floored by Rogue One. So.
Because George never played anything safe. He took risk, and that's what made Star Wars Star Wars. I mean, imagine a sci-fi film 10 years ahead of its time in 1977. Every single Star Wars film that you watch is 10 years ahead of its time. If you showed me the prequels right now, you showed me Revenge of the Sith, I could have easily believed that it was made last year. And that's just the route he always took.
George Lucas, man, is just on another level. The fact that the Clone Wars itself are mentioned in the very first movie that was made in the 70s. It's like he had. I don't even know how you would. If I was to make a story like that, where do you even start? And the man just. I like to believe that he put in Clone Wars because he knew that eventually he wanted to tell the story of the Clone Wars, and which he did in the early 2000s. And man, and then for Gareth to get that type of recognition from Lucas, I'd want to see a Gareth Edwards movie. Somewhere down the line again. Like he deserves another take.
100%. So us as Star Wars fans are very like seclusive. We're very like, I only want certain directors working on certain things because we don't want this is our most prized possession ever since we were kids. So we don't want anything messing it up. So when we see like Jon Favreau, the work that he's done, Dave Filoni, Gareth, everyone who's worked on these, it's like a trust thing as fans. It's like a trust, and it's like, please give me more, and you see that certain directors and certain producers come back. Taika is having his own spin-off film in 2024, 2026. He worked on The Mandalorian season 1, and he did a phenomenal job. Dave Filoni, obviously, of course, Jon Favreau, they bring him back, and I have no doubt they'll bring him back for a future project like that.
So, director, is there anything that you've brought with you that you want to talk about or discuss, or are you just kind of like free flowing here?
I'm going with the flow here, but I mean, everything with the Rogue One conversation, easy way to spark a convo for sure. But I do agree that some directors, while we're on that conversation, the Star Wars fan base is like kind of fractured right now, and I think we see that, and it's weird because like when I was growing up, there wasn't like two or three or four camps of Star Wars fans. There was just Star Wars fans. Like, I remember getting excited if I met somebody who loved Star Wars. Now it's like, oh, you love Star Wars? What did you think of The Last Jedi? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what do you think of Rian Johnson? What do you think of Rogue One? And it's like, if it's the wrong answer, it's like F you and all this. There's a lot of venom after the sequel trilogy, and I never knew existed. It all bubbled up. Man. And I know I check Twitter probably too much, and Twitter doesn't really show everything in the Star Wars community. You know, but I mean, there are people that are just really toxic in the Star Wars community that are not tolerant of other people's opinions. And I haven't really seen that come out in the way that it has until the sequel trilogy. And it's really unfortunate because I'm going to say it one more time. Like, there was a time where you just got excited to meet another Star Wars fan.
Exactly.
Now the question is, what kind of Star Wars fan? And I don't really like that.
That's the number one question, I think, for new people that come into the community is, what are your the question is normally along the lines of, what are your thoughts of the sequel trilogy? And I always let them know, hey, you're welcome here. Come hop into this community. Do I think the sequels are spectacular? No. Do I think they're trash? No. There's definitely a middle ground there. There's Rise of Skywalker, to me, is a movie where you can just, if you're having a bad day, you can turn Rise of Skywalker on and you can have a lot of fun, man.
It was a perfect theater film. It was perfect to watch.
Popcorn muncher is what I call them. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The opening. Go ahead.
The chills that you get hearing Palpatine's voice in that film, like just little things like that, the nostalgia aspect of it with Leia, everything. It's just like, it was such a beautiful film for the theaters.
The Exegol scene, to me, is the creepiest thing in Star Wars, and I love it, man. Just watching Kylo walk the halls of that temple, man, I was like, watching that theater in IMAX was just an insane experience for me. I love it. I wish I could experience that for the first time over and over again, man. It was awesome. But yeah, so I'm with you, man. And it really, I hope that question turns from, do you like the sequel trilogies, to, 5 years from now, they just come in and say, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan too. That should be the opening. Yeah. No one should be scared if your favorite character is C-3PO, or your favorite character is Chewbacca, or your favorite character is Finn. It shouldn't matter. The what matters is you're a Star Wars fan. You want to be welcomed into the Star Wars community, and that's exactly how it should be. So, and I know all three of us, Boba Fett, Benzin, guys like that, are doing everything they can to change the question from, do you like the sequel trilogy, to, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan too, what's up? It shouldn't even be a question. That should how it be when someone new comes into the community.
Exactly. That's the beauty, because every single film has a different meaning towards every one of us, and you have to respect those opinions. You have to respect that. I always say, like, Rose Tico might not be a character that means so much to me, but you can be born in the same country that the actress was born in, and it could mean so much to that character. It could mean so much to that person, and you have to always respect that. But I will say this, though. I will say, obviously, the fandom menace, the fandom of Star Wars is split up. But I will say, I think they're taking. I don't know if this was a goal of theirs or whatever the case may be, but The Mandalorian has been something where I feel like at least 99% of the community of Star Wars has all finally become one again. You know what I mean? I think that's something that we can all enjoy together without having such a divided fan base. They took the most risk with this season. They took the risk with having Ahsoka being brought back with Luke. Oh my God, that was the best kept secret of 2021, and the year just started. And just so many little things like that. They took a lot of risk, but I do believe The Mandalorian was something that we can all as fans agree. And some people were like, oh, the CGI was off. Oh, Ahsoka's Laku was too long or too short, But you're a fan that's hating on the appearance of things. You're not hating on the actual storyline of it, because it's perfect. How they operated. It was beautiful. Star Wars Theory had tears. You see so many people, fans, this is what we've always wanted. This is what we look up to as kids, and seeing it in 2021 when we're grown adults is really special. Really, really special.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm right there with you. If you're only complaining about the appearance of something, then you definitely are just looking to start an issue. And that's really it, period, on that one. So
there's people that just want to get you in a gotcha moment too. You know what I mean? They want to just engage with the confrontation, and it's like, where did this venom come from? But luckily, we all carved out a Twitch community over Star Wars that's very positive and very embracing. And I say this almost like a broken record in every stream when people start talking about the sequel trilogy or bringing up other movies. You're allowed to say that you hated The Last Jedi, but when somebody says I like it, if your next response is, well, you're not a Star Wars fan, or shut up, you're trash, or something like that, that's what needs to stop. They're allowed to like The Last Jedi. You're allowed to like Revenge of the Sith or whatever. Like it's fine. Like you don't have to agree with each other's opinions in the Star Wars community or any community really. This applies to anything in life, but you should be tolerant of other people's opinions.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
And that, speaking of the stream, that kind of just goes right into the next thing on the list. The community that we're building, or everybody's building, whether it be us here, Boba Fett, Benzin, Watat, all those, Too Good Friend. We could do a list of 50 people, man. The community's so long, but we're all trying to make a really good community. And I think we're going to plug here. This Wednesday, we're going to try to do our best to show what the community's already been trying to evolve into on Boba Fett's stream, where all 4 of us are going to be on the stream together and just show everybody that, I like the Old Republic. Serpents likes the Clone Wars. You like the OT, which we all like the OT, but you are right around the OT. Yeah. And Boba just loves his bounty hunters and his guild over there in his book of Boba Fett. But we're all going to come together and just talk Star Wars for the first one on Battlefront 2, man. And I think everyone will be in that chat having a good time, whether they talk about Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi or whether they talk about Luke Skywalker in A New Hope. I think it's going to be a good time. Where do you guys see this community going in the next for 2021 for DC? Because we talked about that on our New Year's Eve podcast. Where do you think it's going to go?
I mean, I want to talk about the squad stream because I think this is a big part of our mutual futures. And if you guys don't mind, I'll pull back the curtain a little bit on this and let everybody here know, in advance, like what our group goal is with this. So guys, this Wednesday on Mr. Boba Fett stream, there's the graphic. I got that message from you guys after I went live, but I would have definitely shown that on stream. It's beautiful, as Krennic would say. But yes, I'm counting down the days. You guys don't understand. I've never been this eager to be a part of somebody else's stream in my life. So we're all going to go under Mr. Boba Fett's roof in Tatooine to go me, Serpent, Warrior Nerd, and Boba all under one roof. So I don't know about YouTube, but I've been telling people I'm going to keep Boba's chat up on my second monitor. And I would think it would be really cool if we just, you guys can all be in one stream. You don't have to have a tab for Serpent, Warrior, and Chronic. Like, we're all going to be under Boba Fett's roof. You guys can watch us all play together. We're going to play Battlefront 2. This is so exciting, guys. This is like us as streamers unite, and as more than even streamers, as friends uniting and inviting you guys in with us and getting to just enjoy a night with all 4 of us. And we're going to all be on mic. We're all going to be bantering with each other. We're going to be able to all interact with you. At least I'm going to have Boba Fett's chat up so you guys can talk to us in real time, except me, Warrior, and Serpent are not going to be streaming. Just Boba is, but you're going to have us all in one spot. And our plan for this going in the future is that we're going to do this every month, and we're going to change the game. So I think the next game might not even be Star Wars. And if you guys have suggestions for what those games would be, we're all ears. We're open to playing with stuff that we're not even good at, just to have fun. And it's about us as a group of friends gaming and streaming together at least once a month and inviting you all in as a community. And each month we'll change who hosts it. And Boba Fett will be hosting it first this Wednesday. And I'm super excited about it. Boba is an amazing streamer, and he's going to kick ass on this hosting job. And I can't wait.
Dude, I'm excited too, man. It's
amazing.
My week was I was focusing on as much as I could within the community. I'm trying to get in everybody's streams, but every day I woke up, I was like, I can't wait for Inside the Holocron. I can't wait for Inside the Holocron. And my next thought was, I can't wait for the squad stream. So now, as soon as I hit in broadcast, I'm just gonna be like, my brain's gonna be consumed about this the squad stream, and I'm excited for it. I'm glad that we've united the banners for us 4 men, and I think this is like the official. Boba was here. I mean, we talked about it last week, but we're officially letting people know, like, we're the squad, and we're gonna do these squad streams, man, and I love it. And I tell you guys every day, man, I'm grateful that we've all became friends, and I'm grateful that you guys chose. We didn't really choose us 4. It just kind of like
it
meshed
just happened. Everything happened. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. But everything happened organic. Everything just happens just naturally. Everything just happened. I met.
Yeah.
I met Director Chronic like in June. If you check my followages, it was like 2 weeks after I started streaming, 2 weeks after my account was made. And I never really we like I was just like it was just cool, but never would I ever thought 6 months ago that he would have been one of my closest friends, as well as you, as well as Mr. Boba Fett. And we all just combine, and it becomes something larger than streaming. It becomes actually like a friendship. And I have said this multiple times on stream, and I sound like a broken record. I don't care anymore. Like, the fact is that like we all have something in common where we all just made the best out of the worst situation of this pandemic, and we just love Star Wars. We just love hanging out, and we just love what we do. So the fact that we have something to look forward to every month, because this is so exciting just to think about. It's been like in my head all week, just the fact that we can get on the podcast, all three of us together. Last week was Boba. Next week we'll have another amazing special guest. And just having these amazing friends of ours just be a part of something so special, and then bring it all together, playing the game that we play every single day, Battlefront 2, HVV, but just having a little fun talking with one another and putting comments.
Right. If you look at all of our streams, if you could go back and watch our broadcasts from July and August to now, you can see that we're always doing whatever we can to every stream get to be a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So this is our first one this Wednesday. So I'm asking everybody, I think it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be successful, but bear with us. Yeah. Each month it will get better because we don't let each other. We don't even let each other sleep. But it's 4 a.m. and we're like, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, "I was about to go to bed, but I think this is what you should do." So
we were in a BC last night until 5:13 a.m. I was asleep the last hour, but just like, and it's just like literally just like it's just talking, just having fun, and that's just what it's all about. And I mean, pressure's on Boba on this one, but no, but it's going to be a fun time, and it'll be a great time. And like I said, we are continuing to look into doing this once every month, possibly even more down the road.
Yeah, we're open to more.
And playing games that we've never even tried before. And so all preferences, all ideas, or even feedback based on this, all helps towards this, as a matter of fact.
Can I zoom this out for a second?
Yeah.
So this squad stream is obviously something that really connects us, but I just want to stress just emphasize this and put some we are our friends first. So when I say that, when we came up with this idea, we all got super excited for it. I could speak for all of us when we're all looking forward to Wednesday. Now, how you guys react to it is going to determine where it goes from here. Like right. Serpent just said, we already talked about maybe doing it twice a month. I saw a comment in chat just now that said something about doing it every week. I don't know if we'll go that crazy, but maybe down the line, who knows? But we're open to more. It's really going to be off of what we get from you guys. But like I said, I want to zoom this out for a second. This is just one of many things that we want to do for you guys that gives you different content. So you guys have something to look forward to. We as streamers have something to look forward to that just changes it up. Maybe if I did a stream playing, I don't know, Apex or something, or Serpent switched and played Fortnite for a stream, there's that doubt in your mind as a streamer that, oh, it's not Star Wars, maybe people won't be around. Well, this way we get to stream, we get to still, be your hosts and have a good time. You guys get to see our dynamic as friends, and we get to step out of the Star Wars realm, but keep you guys there with us and still have our same banter, our memes. Europe gangbang for Boba Fett will still be live, and you know what I mean? We get to keep everything, but try new things as a community. It's not just about us as streamers. We get to try things with each other and step out of our comfort zone. So I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really stoked.
Yeah, man, it's literally something that's gonna start being on my calendar, just the only thing. Okay, that's the day for the squad stream. I think it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited. So we did this with Boba. So just tell them, what are you about your stream? What time do you stream? What's your plans for future content? Just give them a taste of what to expect outside of the squad stream and with us.
Well, I stream every day of the week except Sunday and Wednesday, so I'll be off tomorrow. But we'll be back for Mod Monday. Mod Monday, we've been doing that for, like I was saying earlier, forever. Well, I stream at 5 p.m. Eastern every day that I'm not off. And Saturday, we start a little earlier, so today we streamed at 3 p.m. But man, I'm excited about the future, guys. You guys, things are blowing up with all of our channels. The momentum with Star Wars, Battlefront 2, especially on PC right now, is really, really awesome. I didn't know if I'd be able to say this today, but we hit 2,000 followers today in the Garrison, and I'm really proud.
Awesome,
really proud to say that we hit that towards the end of stream today. Super stoked. And honestly, the best part about all this is like looking to my left and looking to my right and seeing my friends and fellow Battlefront streamers all doing well collectively. It's like the most amazing thing. Like Boba's going to be at 2K, like if he's not already. Like I mean, like everybody's growing, everybody's having a good time doing it. But yeah, basically, I'm just excited for the future. This year, I have a lot of plans. I want to get new artwork done for the channel. That's high on my priority list. I want to get an alternate.
That mic right there is brand new. You just had that for 2 days, right?
It sounds beautiful. Just letting you know.
I don't know how it sounds right now because it's not running
No,
through
it's dude, it's amazing.
It's
I don't know how it sounds.
it's
Sorry, because I have it through OBS and I have filters on it. This is unfiltered right now. So.
Yeah, it makes me, dude. I was like, do I want that in the long term for YouTube? Yes, but it was like I told you, it's far on the list, and now I'm like, maybe I should creep it up to the top of the list, man, because I think that would really, it's already taken your stream to the next level. It probably makes me and Serp sound like amateur podcasters now. So thanks for that. Yeah. And then, yeah, man, I think it would take YouTube up to another level too. And then that's another thing where we've all been killing it with content outside of Twitch, and we're going to keep doing it. So yeah, we look forward to watching your future streams. Serpents, where are you going to be at starting the new week?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time with some new mods.
New mods. That's all he's going to give us. You're not going to give us even a hint? What do we got? What do we got, man?
I mean, Kirby just came out. There's some cool ones. I added some new ones. And now that Director Chronic did mention one mod that I might add to tonight. He did mention something tonight that I might just throw in tomorrow.
Keep it
the ends of an ad bane, so maybe I'll just throw that in tomorrow.
I'll be there.
So yeah. And yourself?
For me, I'll be back Monday at 3:30. I will explain on the next podcast or the podcast after more about the lower levels. That's all I'm going to say. Just if you're interested in the lower levels, just come by my channel. We're always discussing it. And the last thing, I have to give a shout out. We don't normally do this on the podcast, but Kibbs Gaming, welcome back, my friend. Don't go anywhere. Send me, Serp, or DC a DM or something. We got to talk to you after the stream, and we got a lot to catch up on. Happy to have you back. Other than that, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. Any closing statements?
I just want to say that I'm grateful for all. I know it's going to get a little mushy just for 2 seconds, but I'm grateful for my friendship with Warrior, Serpent, Boba Fett, and a lot of other Battlefront streamers. I call these guys friends, almost close to brothers. We talk every day, and all you guys in the community, you guys have never. I just want you to know we gas you guys up even when we're talking in DMs with each other. Like, we're so thankful for our communities, and we really do love you guys. And what we're building right now, and when I say I'm not just talking again about the streamers, I'm talking about you guys as well. What we're building right now is really special, and I hope nobody takes it for granted. I hope you guys are strapped in for the long haul, because stuff's going to go off this year. Things are going to get real. It's my prediction. My closing statement here is, I hope to one day look back on this podcast and go, wow, that's where this journey began, and look where we are now. So
these will be archived, and then right now we'll go ahead next week. If it's still going on, I'm sure he'll let us know. Is our next guest is going to be BenZN for next Saturday, so we're looking forward to that. He's another fantastic Battlefront streamer, and like you said, man, it's just we can look back on these and even see how much we've improved. You know, if we do you're going to be a normal guest on the podcast. Who knows? 6 months from now, maybe we're all our skills are going to be better, and it's just going to keep unfolding, man. I'm excited. I love you guys.
Inside the Holocron at Celebration will be kind of fun. Get one big
we're gonna get on the main stage. Yeah, that'd be something. That's a goal right there, man. That'd be fun. I appreciate you guys, and that's it. May the force be with you.
All right, good night, guys. Salutes from the Garrison. Thank you.